Hello children, Charlie here for the last story time of the year. I can't believe we've got to that time of year where it's the holidays. So I've got one last story I wanted to read to you before we say goodbye. Okay, and this story is Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a small girl called Little Red Riding Hood. She lived with her parents beside a deep, dark forest. In a cottage on the other side of the forest lived her grandmother. And in the deep, dark forest, there lived a big bad wolf. "Grandmother's poorly," said Little Red Riding Hood's mother one day. "Please take her this cake, but don't stop on the way." So Little Red Riding Hood set off through the deep, dark forest. She looked all around. There wasn't a sound. Then, who should she meet but the big bad wolf? "Good day, my dear," growled the wolf with a big bad smile. "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I'm going to grandmother's to take her a cake," replied Little Red Riding Hood. Then the wolf had a plan. "Wouldn't your grandmother like some of these flowers?" he smiled. "Oh, what a good idea," said Little Red Riding Hood, and she stopped to pick a big bunch. Meanwhile, the wolf sped ahead through the deep, dark forest. At last, he arrived at grandmother's cottage. "I'm hungry," thought the big bad wolf, licking his lips, and he knocked at the door. "Hello, grandmother," growled the wolf. "It's Little Red Riding Hood." "Oh, that sounds more like the big bad wolf," thought grandmother, and she crept quickly under the bed. The wolf went in. He looked all around, but there wasn't a sound. Then his tummy rumbled. "No one's here," he grumbled. "Never mind, Little Red Riding Hood will be along soon." Quickly, the wolf put on grandmother's dressing gown and nightcap. Then he hopped into bed and pretended to nap. He snarled. "Little Red Riding Hood will never know it's me." Soon, Little Red Riding Hood knocked at the door. "Hello, grandmother," she called. "It's Little Red Riding Hood." "Come in, my dear," growled the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood opened the door. "Oh, grandmother," she gasped. "What big ears you've got!" "All the better to hear you with, my dear," growled the wolf. "And grandmother, what big eyes you have!" "All the better to see you with, my dear," growled the wolf. "And grandmother, what big teeth you have!" "All the better to gobble you up," roared the wolf. But as he leapt out of bed, grandmother's nightcap flopped right over his head. "Quick, down here, dear," whispered grandmother, and she pulled Little Red Riding Hood under the bed. Just then, a woodcutter passed by the cottage. He heard a growling and a howling, and he dashed inside and with one swish of his axe, he killed the big bad wolf. The woodcutter looked all around, but there wasn't a sound. And then out crept Little Red Riding Hood and Grandmother from under the bed. And Little Red Riding Hood said, "Mother was right. I'll never stop again on my way through the forest." And children, that's the end of Little Red Riding Hood. And that's the end of stories for this term. But the really exciting news, the great news, the best news there could possibly be is that in September, all of you, the whole school, brothers and sisters, will be able to come back to school. And I'll be there with everybody else at school to say, hello, welcome back. But for now, have a really, really good rest, a lovely holiday. Look after your mums and your dads and everyone who looks after you, and they'll look after you as well. Take care, and we'll see you all on September the 7th. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.